Welcome back to the World Championship Series Winter Edition. We're moving into our second series from the Americas group as we go into another Zerg versus Zerg. My name is Fear Dragon. I am joined by Zombie Grub. And how are you feeling about this next match?
I'm feeling it might be just as one-sided as the last series.
Okay. Last series we did see some longer games coming out though. At least the second game we got up to Broodlords. You can't say it was a short game.
But in TVZ, like what do you expect Special to do? Like just run forward with one Marines?
Roxy 4Rex, yeah.
Yeah.
Now that's a very fair point. Scarlett, a little bit renowned as playing a bit cheekier or cheesier a lot of the time. ZvZ can definitely also be one of those matchups that, especially if the players like going into those Ling-Banling wars, it's very difficult to move on from sometimes. I want to see how Rex plays, though.
Right, he's a big question mark. I mean, we saw him in the round of 32, so we know that he's good, as every player is in the round of 16, but then you still get to the next levels, the people who constantly make it to the top 4 and even win big old tournaments, top 4 of BlizzCon. That's a big, it's a big name right there.
Yep. And this is a pretty tough group for Rex. In fact, I actually see him asking in the chat, why am I in this group?
Yeah.
Not super happy about his first opponent. But hey, the bright side is if he can make an upset happen over here, then he goes on to face off versus Special. And that's a cakewalk, right?
Yeah, that's the good news.
No, this is a tough match, but Rex has got to either be able to beat Special or Scarlett. One of the two if he wants a chance of making it out of this group. So we'll see what he's able to pull out in this first ZvZ.
In the top left on Port Alexander, as the blue Zerg, it is Scarlett. Newbie. Recent pickup.
Might say she is the newbie. Oh, newbie. Starting down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, we have the red Zerg player. He is Rex. Team Africa TV, Taiwan.
That's why it's like that. Or otherwise known as Aftiftu.
That is one way to pronounce that.
Yeah.
Without any vowels.
I do like the logo. It's actually the Africa logo.
It looks a little crazy.
It's like he's just laughing at someone.
You would really like that, wouldn't you?
No, he is. It's with like the Hangul. He's like, that's what he's doing.
It is.
Anyway.
And it doesn't seem like a nice laugh at someone.
No, it doesn't.
It's at someone else's expense.
It's literally pointing and laughing.
Wow. So it's basically all of Twitch chat.
Yes. Yes, I was going to go with the Simpsons reference, but you're right, too.
Yeah. All right, in this Zerg versus Zerg, we don't see any early pools. I feel like that is worth mentioning because, again, Scarlett at least does like to play a little bit more aggressive, and she really does enjoy mixing in some of those 13-12s and whatnot. I wouldn't be surprised to see it sometime today, whether it be versus Rex or if Scarlett ends up facing off versus Cham versus him, could definitely be a possibility as well.
Yeah, if we theoretically have 6 ZvZs, then I think there's going to be a 13-12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good odds.
Yeah.
But we've seen a lot of European ZvZ lately. Not quite as much of the America side, seen a lot of the ZvZ, but the European ZvZ, they love doing the roaches. They love just skipping Ling-Banling, or at least only doing it for a very short period of time. America's is not quite like that a lot of the time.
Well, stereotypically, we have a lot of Zergs in Europe, and I think only 5 Zergs in the round of 16 here, which isn't a bad, like that's it's an okay amount, but yeah, so not as many ZvZs. What we generally do see of the Americas, though, is that Europe always seems to develop their own style. America seems to always just to kind of, be like the Koreans in a lot of ways. And the Korean ZvZ is very aggressive, and actually very fun to watch too. But anyways, they might be picking up some tricks here and there. I know Scarlett is the first person, we're talking about Nidus Worms in the last ZvZ with the Europeans, and I was like, I don't know if either one of them is going to be the type to really bring that out, to do that. Scarlett is definitely the person I would be like, oh, if something's new, good, like, yeah, she's going to do Nidus Worm. Yeah,
Scarlett has told me, at least in Zerg versus Protoss, that she really loves Nidus Worms. Now, I feel okay saying that because she has no Protoss in this group. We do see a decent number of Lings, by the way, coming out from both these players. A few more for Rex, not a significant number more, just about 5 or 6. I think it's actually 6 because you can't make odd numbers of Zerglings. But adds on a few more Lings, and Scarlett's still adding on more drones while she gets up that Baneling nest. We never saw the Baneling nest come up for Rex either. So Rex is committing a good bit to making some of this aggression happen. I think you were talking about this in the previous ZvZ we saw in the Europe group, where you make enough lings that you keep your opponent home so that maybe you can transition out behind it, but still no drones.
No, this could be quite...
Queens are walking their way across the map too.
Yeah. What are they?
Oh, no, never mind.
No, they're just going after their one Overlord. Yeah, there's a drone on the way, but this is quite dedicated. Really wants to do some damage, at least for Scarlett to stop droning, because she already has such an advantage.
Yeah.
Scarlett's
already handled this.
That did not go so well. Rex expecting a later Baneling nest from our Zerg player, and instead the Banelings are already ready to go, totally prepared. And Scarlett keeps her lead in workers, continues her lead in workers, and also now has a lead in that +1 missile. Rex so late to the Baneling nest, it's basically not even worth getting at this point, I feel. Like, I know he's going to need it when Scarlett counters, but it's not going to really work out long term.
Yep, and there's that counterattack that you were talking about. Scarlett moving across the map. She has the overwhelming number of lings, but decides to retreat back and to keep this alive, as I'm sure she can expect that Rex is also making his own lings in reaction to these at this point. So just forcing out a bunch of lings is really nice, because she's still keeping a 10 or now 13 worker advantage just by showing some of the lings, and then retreats back home. By the time these lings pop out and go for an attack across the map, the roaches will be on the way, and Scarlett will be even further ahead at that point and should be able to hold.
Yeah. This feels like it's going to be an easy game from here on out. As you know, depressing as it is to say, just like, oh, I'm calling it so early. But that's the position that Rex has put himself in by not trying to transition really at all away from Ling Baneling, not getting any upgrades.
Okay, well, that's going to make it a little easier, too.
There you go. There you go.
Good number of lings dying right there. More Banelings going to be finishing up here for Scarlett. She gets out of the way with her Banelings just in the nick of time to avoid Rex's. This is Rex's only real shot. He's got to make some damage happen there, and wow, almost all the Banelings for Rex go down. Third hatchery is going to stay alive. Baneling is going to get canceled over there. Rex is starting to make some progress, but now the roaches start popping out, and now Rex still has to get some more damage done as he's sitting down 23 workers.
I was unsure as to why that queen was still alive, but finally the queens are down. But now, right, the roach is going to replace them in the target firing terms, but as well as just being sturdy, and they will live forever, really, against what Rex is throwing out here. There's that point where there's so many lings that they can surround on a composition like this that it can be scary, but that's not what Rex has. Plus, Scarlett obviously has Banelings, make sure that doesn't happen.
Ling run by?
No, it's attempted. Doesn't work out, and Rex is at a significantly just worse supply.
Yeah. And now Scarlett also knows how many more lings Rex made and sent across the map, so she's actually leaving a roach in the wall, and now she just has to position her units to defend that third base, and she's going to be in fine position. She's made more Banelings. She's still droning up, which of course is going to only benefit her, but she's also getting a +2 missile attacks. +2 missile attacks is starting up before the Roach Horn is even made for Rex. Let's put that into perspective.
No, he didn't even get a evolution chamber, which is, you know, oftentimes the first thing that you get. So there's just no upgrades whatsoever. If you're in a situation where you are feeling like you're really behind, there is a valid choice to be made to skip on upgrades, as opposed to, like, maybe you get more Banelings, you skip an upgrade type deal, but it's still not a very good long-term plan. And really, with Rex is adding on a layer, right, he is thinking still more long-term, and no upgrades means no chance to win. As Scarlett is going to max out before Rex is at, like, 140 supply.
I mean, I really do feel like the Hail Mary play here is you get up your layer, and then you go for a Nidostorm, and you try and actually turn this into a weird base trade.
Oh, a base trade, I see. Okay, no, but I don't even think that will work. Scarlett's going to be at a point where she's going to have double the army supply and could split her army half to defend the Nidostorm. And have to actually, finally end the game.
That is a sobering thought right there.
Yeah. Well, she's at that point, 57 workers. I mean, she could be up a little bit more, I suppose, but she's at the point where you can just start to make nothing but army and max out, where Rex only at 50.
Oh boy, okay. There goes a lot of the army supply for Rex as the lings get cleaned up by some Banelings, and Scarlett pushes this back once again.
I feel like such a Debbie Downer. I'm just like, this game is
it's tough because Scarlett is a world-class player. Literally, she is a tournament premier winning player. And Rex is an up-and-coming player who's shown a lot of promise, making his way through the round of 16. But this is a really uphill battle. Scarlett takes the first game and shuts down Rex. But, again, this is not necessarily one of those situations where I think that Rex is a bad player by any means. It's just how difficult his opponent is.
Well, that's always the thing is like, you know, I think, you know, bring up Twitch chat again. They'll be the first one to be like, you're not GM, you're not 6,000 MMR. Like, no, I'm not. But, you know, Rex also isn't 7,000 MMR.
Guess what,
and that's
guys?
who we're comparing him to.
There are more shades between, you know, Diamond League and Grandmaster League and all the pro players.
Yeah.
Just because you're in Grandmaster League doesn't mean you're necessarily as good as Scarlett or Special.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
So that's a position that Rex in. He knows it. You
Yeah.
know, he was making the jokes in the chat. And he is going to have to find those openings, you know, that the kind of all-in-ish states. And that's why you don't blame him for doing that Lynx well. But you do blame him basically for not being able to win with it. Like, it's his loss to take when it doesn't work out.
Yeah. I would love to see Rex mix in something a little bit weird, mix in something a little bit funky, or just aggressive or something. Actually, you know, as I say that, I'm like I'm saying it, and then I'm hearing myself, and I'm like flashing back to the 7 Baneling hits on the Lings of just his Lings getting absolutely demolished. I'm like, maybe I don't want to see early aggression, actually.
Yeah.
It's really tough in this situation.
Well, we're also at that point where, like, Scarlett could be overconfident and make the mistake of trying to skip a Baneling nest because, you know, oh, it's Rex. Like, who was that? But I don't, like, obviously she's not doing that.
Yeah.
But that could have been a thing, I suppose, where Rex tries to take advantage of, you know, being the underdog and doing the all-in and hoping that his opponent just is a little bit cocky. But
yeah, so I think one of the other things is that a lot of the players maybe in Americas for, you know, the United States or Canada or Mexico, a lot of these other people aren't as familiar with the players in the Chinese and the Taiwanese scene. Scarlett is. Scarlett is actually very in touch. She's one of the players from North America that is very in touch with the Chinese and the Taiwanese scene. She knows the players. She knows how they play. So it's also extra difficult for Rex to catch Scarlett off guard by the "you don't know really what I'm capable of" card.
Yeah, exactly. And as long as she continues to throw down, you know, well-timed Baneling nests and play it a little bit safe, then she is. Actually, I don't think anything to worry about. But we know Scarlett. She can be aggressive even when she doesn't have to be.
This is true.
In the bottom left, down 1, it is the blue Zerg Rex.
And starting up here in the top right-hand corner of the map, we have the red Zerg player. She is Scarlett, sitting up 1-0. IEM Pyeongchang winner.
Pretty
Oh, she's really close to breaking 300K. She's at 299K.
Yeah, I think it was 400 at the end there, so.
Yeah. So I think, so I mean, she might just be waiting for the payout of already advancing the round of 16, but I think she's already hit over 300K then.
Yeah, I agree.
Congratulations to Sasha.
Yeah. And we know she's the player that also has had, like, a lot of other sources of income than just prize winning, so.
Oh, you mean no regret streams?
Yeah. Okay,
on her channel?
I was going to say she's made a decent amount of money here. And as you were bringing up, like, very in touch with the Chinese, oh my god. Well, that's the word I'm using now.
I'm not saving you on that one.
The Chinese and Taiwanese scene. That she is even, you know, going to the team houses there, doing some commercials. Everyone saw when she was in that car, right? And she drove up, and that was for that tournament. Did you not see that?
No.
Oh man, they got her like all dolled up. They put her in like in a Lamborghini or something and had her like step out of it. It's pretty good.
Oh, you know what? I have seen this.
Yes.
It was a passing thing.
Yes. She gets.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, she gets opportunities. It's not a surprise to you that she's a fan favorite amongst basically everyone in the world, but especially China.
A lot of expectations for Scarlett, and so far she's doing pretty well. She's gotten a good start this season. She's been able to qualify for GSL Code S, played her games recently. Wasn't quite able to do as well there, but...
Oh, spoiler alert, Fear Dragon.
Well, Nate already spoils GSL, so I'm in the clear.
Actually, today it was me. I did that first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But you're right, she didn't quite make it through. But the ZvZ I brought up when I spoiled the match first was that it was very weird, and she was very easily, like, she easily just took care of Ragnarok. Another R Zerg, I guess. So.
That is an accurate statement.
Well, I keep forgetting who it was, and I'm like, it's such an easy name to remember, and then I just barely do it because R.
You know, of course, Rex gonna be sending some lings over across the map to the red Zerg player's base, whose name also begins with an S. Funny enough, but
does that I feel like you try
I'm just making fun of you.
You try to do that thing where you took what I did and then you keep on doing it in the effort to make fun of me, and I'm just like, oh, that just didn't work for Dragon. You're just, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. No, but it looks like it is going to be a pretty calm game from both sides, by the way. It is just drones on both sides following this up. Few Lings making their way forward. Both these players respecting each other by getting up the Baneling nests. We'll see a lot of the times this is around the drone count, around 30-ish to 34, that you will start maybe flooding out some Lings if you are worried about a big attack. But if you aren't, this is also where a lot of players will just throw down the Evo Chamber and the Roach Warren.
Yeah, you usually see 16 Lings at least to make sure you don't get surprised by the other person making, 30. But both players really are just going light on the Lings, going into the next stage of ZvZ. If Rex doesn't take a catastrophic loss of Lings, because, and thus didn't make drones like last game, then we could see what his mid-game really looks like, because last game certainly we didn't. He was already so far behind. And maybe the Roach play is something that he feels more confident in. Even though he thinks oh, it's Scarlett, I can't beat her. He might be able to, especially because Scarlett is mixing things up by not going for Roaches, but rather that +1 melee.
Indeed. Rex is going to be adding on a handful more units as well. He's getting up a lot more Lings, as the lair is going to be finishing up for Rex a good bit earlier on as well. This is certainly going to be an interesting situation, because Rex is down 10 workers once again. I mean, it's a callback to last game. The difference is, I would say, that Scarlett has fewer Banelings this game than the last game, and is investing in more into her economy. I think if Rex actually goes for a big attack at the right time, he really can catch Scarlett off guard. I mean,
he's gonna go for Nidus Storm, but with Lings.
And Banelings.
Yeah, but that's also something that Scarlett has.
But I mean, yeah, exactly. Keep in mind that when the Nidus Worm starts up and is about to unload, if Scarlett spots out the Nidus Worm, what units are going to be attacking that Nidus Worm? It's going to be a bunch of Lings, right?
Oh, you're saying you put Banelings in.
You put Banelings in first?
That
you
could
might
happen.
put in Nidus Worms or the Queen first.
Scarlett could also have Banelings ready to pop a Nidus Worm off before it even unloads.
That's true.
It's hypotheticals right now.
How many do you need now?
I don't actually know. Probably a lot.
How many? Okay. So if you lose most of your Zerglings to the Banelings at the front, that does make this attack harder.
So Scarlett's already at 60 drones, and she is behind an army supply, and that's what Rex is hoping for, but she can quickly make up for that, I feel. And she's going to have a +1 melee, she's going to have her own Banelings, Rex is going to bring Queens, and that does add something here. But is that really enough? It's going to take a long time, it feels, for this to snowball in Rex's favor.
+1 weapons about to finish up, a couple of seconds away, and then they are going to absolutely shred these Queens here for Rex. Rex has already lost most of the Queens. He's at a Queen disadvantage now. There are some more Lings and Banelings streaming in on the south side, or on the bottom side of this ramp. But there are so many Banelings here for Scarlett.
Yeah, and she has nothing else to do besides build Lings.
She could just kill them. Yep, there's a Nidus Worm.
There you go.
Answer is 4 or so Banelings to kill a Nidus Worm.
Well, it's also building, I guess there's less health. Yeah, that's going to be an easy cleanup. And Rex, I actually really like the idea of being aggressive, but if he figures something out, if he figured she was going for that +1 melee, if he figured that she was going to go for a Spire, then I would have loved to have seen, for instance, a Roach attack to the natural, but he didn't set up for that. He instead kind of changed his mind, it looked like, and went for this Nidus Storm play with just Lings, and it was one of the easier things for Scarlett to defend against. Plus, she always, I brought this up, she's probably on guard against these cheesier things.
And now with 11 Mutas on the way and +1 weapons, Rex is sitting back on nearly half the workers that Scarlett has. No way to really be super offensive against 7 Banelings on the defensive there for Scarlett. And Scarlett has not that many fewer Lings on the ground as well. So I'm trying really hard to find the way that Rex can bring this back. Maybe it is if Scarlett goes all the way across the map with the Mutas and then another Nidus Storm pops up and Scarlett's not paying attention. But that is honestly the only way I can even imagine right now things work. And look at this. Scarlett actually just cleans up all the Overlords. So Nidus Storm in the main base, not really going to be as easy anymore.
Nah, he's got to send a Ling in. The potential would be that Rex just has a good flood of Lings, similar to what we saw with that Raynor game, right? Where Lings surprisingly bring the game back. Back when Muta versus Muta was super popular, the only thing people did, there were some games like that, where people got to Mutas in a decent state, yet still ended up losing, kind of throwing the game away, because they underestimated Lings on the ground. But Scarlett, was a pro. That was like her period of time. remember like that was with the Jaedong, right? At this style of play, and B, she has as many Lings and Banelings as her opponent, so.
Oh my god. That is just a disgusting number of Banelings. I don't even know what you do against that many Banelings.
You make your own Banelings and try and trade out.
Yeah, that's all you can really hope for. And he's finally starting up 10 more Banelings of his own, but they are going to be 10 seconds too late as the Queens are just retreating back. Scarlett can actually dive into the third base if she really wants to. Looks like the Queens are actually going to be able to handle most of them. Drones starting to go down. Doesn't seem like a big deal, but 5 workers killed when you're already sitting down 15. Ugh. Not a great spot.
Scarlett's about to finish up +1 flyer attack. She's got +2 melee on the way. She's going to
23 mutas.
Continue to cement her lead with the infestation pit at this point.
Yep, Transfuse is going to help, but how much? It looks like actually keeping a handful of these Queens alive, taking some decent trades there. More Banelings come rolling on into that third base.
Oh, so many.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if Scarlett wanted to go for centrifugal hooks and just simply overwhelm her opponent with Baneling, she could do that. She is on 4 bases, 65 workers.
Link run back to the main base.
And continuing to dominate. That one Baneling is going to help.
These are +2 melee Zerglings as well for Scarlett.
Yeah, if she gets 1 Carapace upgrade on the Lings, like, Rex is just out of luck.
I mean, if she gets any Banelings onto the drones, it's one-shotting them now.
That's a good point. You don't consider that very often in ZvZ.
Bye-bye Spore Crawler, and there it is. Bye-bye Rex. He's going to be going down to that loser match, and Scarlett makes her way up to the winner's match.
Yeah. I just feel like we didn't really get to see Rex, you know? Like, yeah, it's not like he was a dominating performance in the round of 32, but I just feel like that was a mental game that was on his side. Like, oh my god, I'm facing Scarlett, and that wasn't a, I guess, good planned build order game series either, where everything just didn't seem to go well for him.
I'm not going to lie, I do think that Rex, if that is going to be the situation Rex is in, I do think that, I don't know whether Scarlett is going to be able to beat Special. That's going to be a really interesting and kind of close match. They're both really close friends. They talk a lot, they play a lot with each other, etc. But if Rex can't beat Scarlett, I do think that Rex is going to have a harder time versus Special in a lot of ways. So if you can't beat either one of them, you don't get to advance on. You got to be able to beat one of them, and I think Scarlett's the more beatable person, if nothing else, just because it's Zerg versus Zerg.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. That just paints a very grim picture for Rex.
Yeah, I'm really hoping he can take the bit of time in the next match, which will be the lower bracket match versus Cham, to boost some of that confidence. Cham is definitely still a good player, so Rex will have to be on guard about that. But if he's able to make that happen, then maybe he'll have the confidence in the decider match. But we'll see what ends up happening there with Cham versus Rex.